So welcome everyone. Welcome all of you to yoga this afternoon. So we're going to pick up a couple of themes and to go over some of the basic vocabulary that we looked at over COVID. And then I think I'm going to start taking this group and this group by stages into new areas where we really haven't been before. Because I think if you've been attending, and if you haven't, you've got a year and a half of classes you can go back and look at. There's a moment where the basic movements around the spine moving and learning to follow your breath and learning to attend to your sense of weight start to lead us not into more difficult things or more complicated things, but they start to help you to look at the basic reality of your embodiment, your verticality, the relationship of your axis to the periphery, different joints from different places. And that's the whole point of yoga. The point of yoga is not to go to the next level and then hurt yourself. That is called boga. Boga, it actually is. The Sanskrit for the opposite of yoga is boga. It really is. I couldn't believe it. So we don't want to do boga. We're going to do yoga. But the wonder of it is that you really have this opportunity to play and to turn things upside down and to be on your belly or your back, or to look at the shoulder from this angle or that angle. And that's how we, that's how we start to learn actually that we can heal or improve a lot of things. But we're going to start sitting in the chair. Just come forward a little bit on the chair. Yeah, chair doesn't mean that you're doing stupid beginners yoga. It means you're doing intelligent beginners yoga. And all of us spend a lot of time on the chair. And so it's a worthwhile place sometimes to begin. You can begin a practice on your feet in the shower or lying down or while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. And you can practice for a couple of minutes or a whole hour. So don't ever tell yourself, I don't have time. Waiting for the toast, I don't have time to move my spine. You do. And it's really a wonderful thing, really a wonderful thing. And when we play like that, we start to discover the link between rich, mindful movement and what our meditation is giving us, and that they're not separate, they're linked. So sitting upright in meditation isn't a rule or a straitjacket. It's something that should come out of life. Or wondering, why does that hurt or that hurt or that hurt when I sit? Not as a problem that you could never solve, but as a gardening question, oh, well, let's see if I can solve this. And I think then we start to have a different relationship and a different friendship to this body, which we live in and are. Okay, so you've come forward on your chair. Take the palms of your hands and put them on your thighs. And just move them around or keep them still, not to do a business, but to play, This is really what you do in the garden. You go out in the garden and you learn and you look, and then you discover that you're gardening. You don't have an idea before in your head when you're in the house. So it's the same with our physicality. Move your hands over the thigh, the leg, the lower leg. And of course, we're playing, we're touching, we are learning, you are remembering, and it's foundational. You can be very light, you can be quite heavy, you can really dig your fingers in. So from the Sanskrit, when we make a gesture in movement work and we close the gesture by touching ourselves like this, that's a mudra. And Mudra is not just for devotional practice, you know, all these things. It's actually ancient movement work, because when you touch yourself, you close a loop and you get a wave of information, even if you don't register it here, you register it in your body. So you may discover in your life that when you are nervous, or when something is shutting you down or making you freeze because it's too much for you, that there are body-based things that you naturally do. One of them for me is this. I put my hands on my thighs. You know, maybe I'm telling myself, well, it's okay, you're about to be attacked, but maybe you can run away. So we all do things like this, or we do like this. And you can never read the gesture of another person completely. You think you can, but we never really know what they're up to. Yeah. Great. So if you can, take one leg and bring it up here. Yeah. Put your same side hand on the bones of your ankle and your opposite hand on your foot, and just move the foot around. So there is a natural circle you can make. There is a natural dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. That's the back of your foot. That's the sole of your foot, like this. But there is also this kind of rotation like this. So I want you to play with that one. So you can make a circle, you can go up and down, but play with this kind of wonderful propeller movement-y thing of the foot. That's it here. That way, and you can go that way. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of an amazing movement, isn't it? Because we think of the ankle as doing this, but this is only the upper ankle, which is where the malleoli, these big hammer bony things that stick up, they allow the foot to do this. But this movement comes from the lower joint, the subtalar joint, it's called. And it is a very, very important movement. I'll show the camera. This movement here, it's called inversion and eversion of the foot. And it's a sign of how sophisticated the human is in verticality. Because this, look how the foot spirals. This spirally shape of the foot is actually what causes the body to spiral when we walk. And we need that. So if the foot came off, you were doing good. If it didn't come off, maybe it will next time. So other side. Okay. Do they know, the people who are testing the alarm, that we're in a class? Okay. Just checking. Just checking. Yeah. So circle. And also, you know, before, just touching. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that happens when you take time to play is you develop a natural relationship and a deepening of what is surface and what is deep. Very often we feel like a surface bubble going around the world, you know, and we forget, like we touch with our hands and it's a surface, but actually we forget that we touch from the surface. I can come and pat you, right? Or I can come and really touch you in a different way and you feel something different. So we're actually deep beings. I don't mean it emotionally. I just mean that the body is a deep experience. It's not just a surface. So then we have this. So as you're touching, you know, you can imagine that your hands go deep into the skin, into the fat under the skin, into the bones. Not something you have to think or get right in your head, just something you have to get open to. Yeah. Okay. Circling. Very good. Very good. Just notice what's different. Notice how you feel. what it feels like down there. Yeah. And we're just going to stand up. And now you're on these two things, these two foots. Just feel. Very often when the real sensation awakens, you discover the richness of your asymmetry. When it's all a bit dead, it all feels symmetrical, but we're not. No one is meant to be so. So you may feel like I always feel that one leg is a little like it's in a valley. The other one's on a hill. And I sometimes I have to check, but I always feel like one foot's in front. So that means that the river of sensorial life is awake. It doesn't need to always be like that. But when we sit for meditation, when we've been quiet. Yes. So we're on these feet, they're awake, they spiral, we're not so symmetrical, but we are weight-bearing beings. And we're just going to start swiveling. Yeah. Okay. So everyone, if you look around, everyone did this natural swiveling where nothing is happening below the ankle, which is fine. The foot and ankle are very stable and we're swiveling, right? Now watch my feet. So we could do like that, or watch my feet, or my feet can start to really be involved. You see how they rock? Which is the thing we did on the chair. Yeah. When we walk, it's this moment here. The foot rolls and propels us, and the spine makes a rotation. And in yoga, in movement work, you find more and more that the body is moving towards rotational. Great, and then stop that movement with the foot. Notice the difference. So now we swivel, but from higher up. Yeah, beautiful. Very good. Okay, we come to rest. And then just go for a little walk. Don't go too far. Yeah. So as you walk, watch me, as you walk, you could allow, so you can stay kind of here and looking at the ground and it's all kind of contained. Or you could let your toes push you and that's going to make your arms swing. Yeah. So the walking starts to have a swing to it. Yeah, opposite, Henriette. Try. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And let it move up through your body. Okay. Very good. Okay, and just come back. Come back. We can do that together.
It might be the way it's looked.
Yeah, just take a moment just to feel what's changing. Okay, so we're just going to roll back and lean against the back of the chair. Yeah. Yeah. Feel your feet on the ground and just notice what this looks like on others and how it feels. Yeah. Yeah, and just feel how we can hang through, and just notice that you're on the back of your sit bones. We've looked at this before. There are lots of classes where we play with this in different ways. Then you can use the chair or you can just roll forward, and we're just going to roll. It's keeping this position, but we're just going to come forward and rest the elbows on the knees. it's the same position. The back is curved, the head is heavy. If you have neck pain from a car injury or whatever, don't strain anything. Just feet are on the ground. And then put the hands on the knees and slowly come back, not to an ideal perfect thing, but to the feeling that you're on top of your bum, that you're on top of your sit bones. Right? They're bony. They should feel bony and sharp on the chair, let's say. Yeah. Now we're going to do a slightly smaller movement like this. So here I am on top of my sit bones, and I'm just going to roll onto the back. So not all the way, but just a little. Yeah, just a little or a lot. And then the next time a little. So you're just on the back. Yeah, that's it. And then come on top. And a little. And come on top. So if you're a meditator or you run a meditation group, this little movement that we've taken apart millions of times is very helpful to do before you go into your practice, because it helps you know, remember, re-garden exactly where you're sitting on your bum. Otherwise, we kind of just sit there and then we wonder why we have shoulder or neck pain. But this little movement to the back, these are my sit bones, to the back of my sit bones, and then to the top. And now let's add to the front. Yeah, to the front. And then to the top, and then to the back. And you'll notice, because I can see, you could be managing it more from below. So it's my feet, and I'm pushing, and I'm resting. Or you could be managing it more from up here. It's all good. Yeah.
What's the best position? Best during meditation on top?
Well, there is no ideal because we're all very different. But the feeling of being on top and slightly forward is eventually the most natural. And we'll look at that in this session, why that is. But so I'm on top and then I'm a little back. And I feel when I go back, it's like the wheel of my pelvis goes this way. Notice how my chest and my head can follow. And I'm doing more of this, right? Then I roll the wheel and I go more on top and then more front. And then you see my chest and my head go that way. So it's like we are three pulleys, three wheels, 1, 2, and 3, and they roll against each other. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm seeing is because we put the attention on the sit bones and we're making this movement, I'm seeing how liquid your spines look. If I had said, do like this and do like this, I would have seen a lot more muscular hardness, let's say. And we've often played with this. But we're just rolling on the wheel of the pelvis, and the body can follow or can contrast. And it's all good and wonderful as long as we're learning. Yeah. So if we speed it up, we have this rolliness and the body follows. Yeah. Or if I'm just on top and I just make a little movement, I still can feel that it's like a reed in the riverbed. That's, or seaweed. Yeah, that's right. Very nice. Okay, so some of you, it's looking good, watch me, but some of you, as you go from the wheel of the pelvis into the legs, you're holding this way, or that way, or this way. You know, you're adducting, abducting, because we have that pattern. So I'm not going to say who and what, it's not important. But so let's just come back to the top and let's make that movement. But let's let the legs fall apart. Yeah, and come together. And still, so you need a little more support. And we're going to all change our face in a moment. Here. Come more forward on the chair. Sit up. Stand up. Sit down. A little, come much closer to the edge. Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise you're tending to lean back. Okay, so you want to be here. I know that feels very forward, but it's not. It's not. Okay, so a little more of the rocking, a little more of the rocking, but just, yeah, it's kind of interfering with the leg structure. So I can play here, and then I can play here. Yeah. Great, and then take this. Okay, the log is not ideal, but we're going to use it for something else. But it does lift you up. So, yeah, it does lift you up. And you can get your sit bones on top of it. Yeah, and then again, we just play with this one, and we play with this one. Yeah, feet on the floor. Yeah. Great. So much of the problem of sitting in meditation and having pain, you know, halfway in, you try to then resolve it with your head. And that's what we do with our bodies. We go, what's wrong? I try and resolve it with I get an idea, I go to the doctor gives me their idea, you know, and very often, unless we have a practice, we don't trust that we can go in the garden and do some weeding, you know, and dig around. And that even though it feels and looks like a waste of time, it's actually profoundly productive. Profoundly productive. Yeah. Okay. Some of us, most of us are doing a combination. The legs are helping by getting in the way, but some of us, our upper body is getting in the way. Primarily, I don't know if you can see me, because we're a little behind this axis. We're a little behind. That's what you were doing, Carrie. So if you're behind, you're going to have the front flexors and the back muscles struggling to keep you there. Now I've put you up on this, so everyone's come forward. Can you feel? If you take your support away, for me and Henriette, for example, the chair is too low. So my tendency is going to be a little bit behind. Yeah. And even if I come on top, I struggle a bit because the chair my knees are a little bit too high. Yeah. Am I making sense? So I'm going to come round. But you can go back to this if you need it. So Sini, you may not need it, but it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to. If you like to be higher, it's fine. But I'm going to come around. But as I do, and your legs are more free, your pelvis is free, just evaluate for yourself, where am I in my upper body? Let's say where my heart is. Is it behind the log, over, or way too far back?